What's happening, Pod Squad? Welcome into a solo episode of the show. And this is going to be a very efficient podcast episode, like 10 minutes, because it's about time management. So I have 10 minutes to record this podcast episode, which means no fluff, straight to it. Why on earth are we going to talk about time management for a podcast for pavement business owners? Because it's one of the most underrated things that you could look at in your business as an owner that will really help you grow and scale. It's so underrated. Like the analogy I use all the time is like, whether you love him or hate him, I think most people probably love him. Elon Musk, that dude runs like over a dozen companies. Okay. And yes, he is a psychopath. He doesn't sleep. He like, whatever. The point is like, how can he run like 16 companies or be the chairman or the CEO of 16 companies? And some days you and I can barely get one. How's that possible? Now, a big reason why is obviously his delegation and he has people running the company. I know that. But the only way you could be that disciplined to run that many companies is how you manage your time. Time is everything. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple points that I typically use. I definitely use it with my coaching clients. I've spoken about this before at some of the pavement shows. I love talking about time management. When I work with a company one-on-one, it's one of the first things I like to look at is like, you're the business owner. Where are you spending your time? Because where you spend your time matters tremendously. So if you are wearing all the hats in your business, this will be very helpful for you. Now, we've put out content very recently that I'm not going to rehash in detail, but I want to just briefly cover it about time buckets. Okay. So about a month ago, you can go back on YouTube, go find this content. We talked about how everything that you do as a business owner, you could put into 3 buckets. Okay. One is $10 an hour. The other one is $100 an hour. Your last one is $1,000 an hour. And a key to growing and scaling your business is getting your time out of the $10 an hour buckets. Stop doing tasks that fit in that bucket and shift them over to $100 an hour and then eventually $1,000 an hour tasks. So what does that look like? That's things like $10 an hour, data entry, scheduling, answering emails, coordinating with clients, paying your bills, posting your content on social media, cleaning the trucks, even things like creating estimates. Like, you need those things. But those are administrative type tasks, okay? Those are not where you want to be spending a lot of your time. And unfortunately, one of the things that does fit into that $10 an hour bucket is working in the field, which we talked about in that video. Very controversial, I know. That's not the point of this video, though. The point of this video is, do you even know where you're spending your time? Does this sound familiar to you? You wake up in the busy season, and the first thing on your mind is like, what fires do I have to put out today? What's the biggest problem I need to solve? Who's yelling the loudest? What quotes do I have to get out that are due today? You can operate that way for a while. And when you're scaling a business or starting a business from nothing and you're building that foundation, there's going to be an element of that. You can't avoid that completely, especially if this is your first business. But what stalls the growth of so many businesses and makes the business owner so stressed out and anxious is like where they're spending their time is not intentional. They're just reacting to the problems in the business. And when you react, you basically become a slave and an employee of the business, because instead of working proactively, you're just reacting to stuff. So how do you change that? Time management. Your spreadsheets and your systems for your business suck, and you might be losing a ton of money in your paving or your pavement maintenance business. Look, our company recently switched to one crew, and it is the only industry-specific, all-in-one platform for paving companies, for pavement maintenance companies, striping companies. It doesn't matter if it's like the sales cycle or if you're estimating or even if you're trying to manage your crew. One Crew has features for all of that. It is unbelievably effective. So if right now you're doing a lot of your estimating on spreadsheets, and at the end of the day or the end of the year, you don't even know if you're making a lot of money, I guarantee you One Crew will help you. It is so easy to make more money with this software. You'll love it. Here's the best part. Listeners of this show get $500 off of the setup fee if you go to getonecrew.com/stripe it. $500 off of your setup fee. Take a free demo and have a look for yourself, man. getonecrew.com/stripe it. Setting intentional time blocks based on what you know the business needs, so important. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in about 5 minutes here, okay? You've probably heard of the example of time blocks before. It is a block of time. So you've probably seen it on, like, maybe you do this yourself. Somebody's Google Calendar or their whatever calendar, they have like blocks in their calendar where, like, at this time, I am doing this thing. So if you were to look at my calendar today, it's from 8 a.m. till literally 4 p.m. There is a giant yellow block in the calendar. Everyone at my company can see it. My wife at home can see it. I am in the studio today with this guy. You can't see him, but he's over there. You're working hard. Keep going, buddy. So I'm in the studio with Matt today. So that means when I woke up today or when I went to bed last night, I'm not thinking about, I wonder what I have to do tomorrow. It's already blocked off. We have intentional time where we book the studio, we come here and we record a ton of stuff. That's what we do. I also have time blocks for sales work or managing some of the sales and doing some of the reporting that I unfortunately have to do. I also block time in there as needed during the week to meet with certain customers and clients. I have a time block in there for our weekly leadership meeting. I have a time block in there of when I go drop my kids off at dance on Fridays. Everything is in there so that I don't need to stress out and worry about what I'm going to do with my time. Now, what most businesses do, and this is the evolution of a business owner, is you react. And when you don't have those time blocks, you're not maximizing the efficiency and the potential of your time. And unfortunately, you are the worst critic of your own business. You are the most emotionally invested. You're the most financially invested, which means that you make terribly emotionally driven decisions about what you think the business needs. So here's how you fix it. You go somewhere quiet. You put on your noise canceling headphones. You go to a coffee shop. You do something where you just block out the world. And I want you to write down all the things that you do in your business. Everything. Like, hold no bar. So what would be examples? If you do quotes, if you do invoicing, if you work in the field, if you do all the scheduling, maybe you have to pay bills, maybe you have to make phone calls for collections, maybe you do social media work, maybe you're working on a budget, maybe you have to update work in the CRM every week, maybe you spend some time doing commercial bid hunting or door knocking or prospecting. I don't care. Write it all down in a list. You're going to have this massive list. Don't even hesitate to write down things that you're not doing now that you should be doing now. Once you got that list, I want you to assign a frequency to how often you want to do it, okay? Not what you're doing now. How frequently do you do that thing? So, paying your bills, perfect example. Is that something that needs to happen once a day, every day? No, that's a terrible time management choice, because if you're always hopping from task to task, you're getting distracted and you're reacting. And when it comes to paying your bills to your vendors, that's what a lot of business owners do, is they're like, I got to pay this bill. It has to be paid today. And so they wake up and they make sure that's paid. And then they hop to the next task. But paying your bills is probably something that doesn't need to happen, like, honestly, much more than like once or twice a month. If you want to be really diligent, maybe once a week if cash flow is tight, but paying your bills once or twice a month is probably sufficient. So you're going to put that with like a little 2x or 2 month, or however you're going to mark it out. Show that you're going to do it twice a month, or maybe you write an M for monthly. Do that with all of your tasks. And then once you have all those tasks, what you're then going to do is build like a sketch draft. You can do this on Google Calendar. You can do it on a piece of paper. Get like a calendar out somewhere and start putting blocks of time based on the frequency at which you wrote in your list onto that calendar. So 1 week, you might not have any of those monthly tasks that you said you were going to do. You don't have paying bills in the first week of the month, but maybe it shows up on the second week of the month. And then it repeats the second week of every month. Start putting blocks of time. Now, if you don't know how long things take, that is actually a good thing. So maybe you don't know how long it takes to pay bills. Estimate conservatively. Give yourself like 2 hours, even though it probably doesn't take 2 hours. And the reason why is you are going to, over the course of your time management strategy, start refining the time blocks. Like, I don't need 2 hours to do this, or I need to get more time in sales, so I have to cut back my time somewhere else. The point is, you're going to get it wrong at first, but it's the baseline that you're going to use to understand where you're spending your time, how long things take. And I guarantee if you do this, you will be shocked, saddened, but with hope in mind. You'll be shocked at how much time you spend doing things that aren't really growing your business. That's going to allow you to start your delegation, hiring people to do some of that administrative tasks, hiring some people to help you in the field so that you can start to grow and scale. All of that, in my opinion, rests on a foundation of you and your time. If time wasn't the enemy, you could just do all this crap yourself. But time is the enemy, and eventually your business will get to a point where you need help, and time management is the best way for you to know, when do I have to hire this stuff out? It's a great, great way. So if you need any help with that, get in touch with me. You know I love to help. That is 10 minutes of time management. Like I said, I manage my time effectively today. Keep your stripes hot. We'll talk to you next week.